I told you I'd do it. I told you I did it. We did it. We're here. We survived the chauffeuring in the rain, as Mr. Monkey Boy 1969 pointed out. What's up, man? And we made it through dinner, and here we are. We made it to the second stream of the day. How about that, guys? We did it. I feel so accomplished actually being here tonight. It did cross my mind to bail, but pulled through, and a lot of it had to do with obviously wanting to start this master study. Like, I really wanted to start it, and then I just started researching a little bit because I wanted to be a little bit more well informed of this page for you guys before I started it. And we're going to talk about that in a second, which is kind of cool. There's some cool like articles and a couple images that I'm going to pull up and talk with you guys about, because it's really interesting actually. And yeah, that those finding out those facts and saying, oh, like I could do this on stream kind of woke me up a little bit. So that's why I'm excited to be here and happy that we made it here this late, for some of you, late Tuesday night. And Comrade Sammy, you are batting 1,000. Hold on, let me turn that up a little bit. Batting 1,000. 3 times in a row, you've been first in my chat. That's why I said you got a turkey, like bowling. That's 3 times. I had to Google it. I was like, what is 3 strikes in a row? You got a turkey. So congratulations. I feel like I need to give you a prize or something. Here we go. Let's see. What do we got for a prize? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Three times in a row. That's what you get. Mr. Monkey Boy 1969. I mentioned that earlier that you were here. Hello, sir.
How do you say monkey in French?
You better show up, because this is your doing. Blaming it all on you. Doing this STERANKO page is your doing. And officially, everyone, it is Nick Fury Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. issue number 2, page 5 is where this master study is coming from. So, but we'll get into it. We'll get into all the like good nitty gritty of the origin of the page and kind of the controversy around the page. And then obviously we'll start breaking it down with the pencils and blocking out the page. So I'm super excited about that. Emo Trash, what's up, Emo Trash? Settling into the evening, our friend Emo Trash. Newly minted 21-year-old Emo Trash. You know, when you turn 21, you're allowed to stay up another extra hour. That's what I heard. So there you go. Now you can stay up till 4 a.m. as opposed to 3. And I just saw coming in here. Where are you? Here he is. My man John is here.
He goes, what's your name? He goes, John.
It's only the early hour of 12 a.m. He's here for My Wednesday Comics. He is first in line for My Wednesday Comics in the East Coast. So good seeing you, John. How are you doing? Hope you got all your dinner, everything all settled, hitting your second wind. Here you are. Emo Trash says, you said it was an 80% chance. Was beginning to believe we were landing in that 20%. It was tempting. It was tempting. I talk a big game, but then once the cameras are off and I'm sitting on my couch, and one of the things when I chauffeured my daughter, I went to the library like I told you guys, and I actually got some cool things. It was kind of fun. I'll show you really quick. Picked up some manga. Okay, this is cool. I won't flip through it. I'll just show you guys what I got. Maybe I'll flip through it in another episode. Maybe tomorrow. I don't know. But this is kind of cool. Alan Davis, Mark Farmer, The Nail. This is a trade paperback. Alan Davis is an incredible, incredible artist. I haven't talked much about Alan Davis, actually, on my stream. But I should, because he's So good. And I really fell in love with Alan Davis's work on Excalibur, the book Excalibur, which was a spin-off of X-Men, kind of the British X-Men. And Mark Farmer is his inker. Mark Farmer was one of the inkers on that Wolverine issue we looked at earlier today. For those of you who are with me, that Wolverine issue, he was one of the inkers. Him and Dan Green both ink it. But Mark Farmer is an incredible inker, and when he pairs up with Alan Davis, it's awesome. I believe I think Alan Davis is one of Shelby's favorite artists. And then I picked up some manga, which I don't usually, but these really interested in me because they're crazy. This one's called Tank Chair. Have you guys ever heard of this book? Wait, sorry, it's kind of hitting the blur. Tank Chair. This sounds crazy, but looks pretty awesome. This guy looks like Jason from the Friday the 13th movies, but on a cybernetic death metal wheelchair. And I have no idea what it's about, but it looks pretty awesome. So I got 2 volumes of that. Let me see if I can find a good page to just show. As usual, manga going crazy, like crazy bizarre. There's no, I almost feel like we try and make sense too much. We try and be too clever in Western stories, and in manga, they don't care. They really don't give a flip of if anything makes sense. What is going on here? But it looks amazing. So yeah, I was pretty excited about that. I got 2 volumes of that. And lastly, this book is called Fire Force. I have no idea what this is. Oh no, I'm sorry. Fire Force. Oh wait, was this the right one that I got? Oh yeah. Sorry, not to be confused with another one I saw called Fire Punch. But this is from the creator of Soul Eater. And I don't know, this one looked kind of cool. Some cool art in here. Never heard of it. Unfortunately, this is volume 16 through 18, which is insane that they have that much content. And this is like really 16 through 18 is not a lot for manga. Like you see manga go into the 90s as far as volume sometimes. And that's kind of the problem with, it's cool that we can borrow them from our local libraries and just try things out and see it. But I often find it hard to find volume 1 of anything new that I'm trying to read. And so this was the earliest collection of Fire Force, was starting at volume 16. So I'm probably not going to know what the heck is going on. But I just said, if I enjoy it, then I'll try and track down the other stuff. But I just wanted to get a taste and see if it's something cool. But yeah, some cool, crazy stuff that I picked up this afternoon. Comrade Sammy says, congrats, you did your obligatory responsibility of streaming for us. I did. Twice. I figured we'd land on the 20% too. It is Wednesday morning now. There it is, John. Then I'm going to do another Wednesday later. It's already Wednesday. Oh, okay. We're going to do for Emo Trash as well, East Coast. That's right, East Coaster. Yeah, we're going to do another Wednesday tomorrow. I did watch my comic store videos that tell me what is coming out tomorrow. And I think I saw 2 or 3 books that I'll pick up. And then there was one book that I didn't pick up from last week. So probably 2 or 3 more books tomorrow. So it's good. It's a good week. Good week for streaming. Good week for comics. 3 in a barrel, baby. That's right. Doing all right. Not sure I'll last too long, John says. No problem, John. Zaid Comics. How you doing, Phil? Zaid Comics. I need to hit you with a sound effect, dude. But how are you doing? I'll give you a rando here until I make one. Good seeing you. Hail to the boss man, Jim Steranko. I know I've heard some stories from Sean when I first found out who you were, and it happened to be like at the time you were, I think you had just met Jim Steranko or whatever. So it's incredible that this legend is still alive, still making his mark, still doing the con circuit and killing it. I know he's pretty active on social media too, which is kind of funny. He's a straightforward kind of guy, very brazen with his posts, but he seems like a hoot. And what a legend! So I know you met him in person at a convention, if I remember correctly, which is incredible. And I'm sure that was amazing to meet somebody like Steranko's up there with like Kirby and all the greats. So I love that he's still alive and kicking. But thanks for coming in. Yeah, we're gonna dive into this. Did take melatonin. It's no longer a crime. Nope. Rocky needs an audience to perform. I mean, to a certain extent. I mean, I don't do this for myself. This is really awkward if it was just me here. That was always the fear when I first started YouTube streaming, was that I would be doing this talking to myself, which I am doing right now. I'm talking to myself, but with nobody on the other side. That's always the fear. And that's the fear that lives in the back of your head once you hit go live and nobody shows up. So when I say I appreciate you guys showing up, I really, really mean it. Maybe you're all a figment of my imagination. That would be awesome, actually. That's a story to write. That some sort of program that you hit go live and it just creates these like artificial commenters. And there's really nobody there. It's just you talking to yourself, talking to the voices in your head. And this program makes you feel like people are watching you. That would be amazing and creepy. But yeah. So I guess I do need an audience. I don't call this, I don't think this is performance. This is far from performance for me. But I do need to feel like it's going somewhere, doing something, as opposed to me just talking to space. So, Mighty Geek Studios, what's up? We're studying Master Illusionist Jim Steranko. We're going to talk a little bit about it. Before I get to the actual drawing, we're going to go into the controversy of this particular page, which is so fascinating to me. For those of you who don't know, we are doing a master study of this page from Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., issue 2. This is, I believe, page 5. And yeah, this is the whole page. Fantastic page. This was suggested to me early on when I started, almost at the beginning of all these master studies, by Mr. Monkey Boy 1969. The famous Mr. Monkey Boy 1969 in the chat suggested this page. And I was like, yeah, no, Steranko's great. That's a great page or whatever. And then I just kept staring at it every time I was thinking of what I could do as the next master study. And I just fell in love with it more and more and more. I just think it's a brilliant piece, not just the artwork and the design of it and the composition and everything, but just a brilliant piece of storytelling. And that is where the controversy comes in a little bit, is the storytelling in here. So let me catch up on the chat and then we'll get into it because it's really fun. Shelby's a big Alan Davis fan. Yeah, totally. I've heard him talk about it quite a bit and share do some streams just talking about Alan Davis's work. Alan Davis is so solid. I've never seen him waver on just as an artist. Like, I've never seen him go through a bad stint. I've never seen an Alan Davis drawing I didn't like. And yeah, he was great. I loved his Excalibur stuff. And he just has a beautiful, like, organic, like, solid organic feel to his stuff. Everything always felt really rounded and smooth and just like appealing and pleasing. So love his work. I'd heard about The Nail. I'd seen it a couple issues when it actually came out, which was decades ago, but I remember seeing it, but I never actually sat down and read it. So I'm glad that I found the compilation of the whole series. So I'm pretty excited to read that. And I believe he wrote it, which is always interesting when artists write their own stuff. Yeah, there's just so much appeal in his work. Just beautiful, beautiful. Actually, I can do this view. Yeah, just beautiful stuff. Look at that. Look at this Catwoman. So cute. So voluptuous. That smile. That's just classic Alan Davis stuff. Yeah. Okay. Don't get off track here, Rocky. STERANKO. I was where? I don't know. You were. I was just talking about how you suggested this page. You did, right? I don't want to. I'm pretty sure this was you who suggested this page. You telling me that this was one of your favorite pages of comic art ever. Am I making this up, Mr. Monkey Boy? Please tell me I'm not. I'll steal the Constitution. DC is only 40 minutes away. Donald DeLay was posting about Tank Chair a few months ago. No kidding. Yeah, I've never heard of it before. And it looks crazy. It's like right up there with Chainsaw Man, or whatever that book is, with the guy with the chainsaw head, which I haven't read that either. But it's just one of those things where, like, I feel like sometimes with manga, it feels like they just put all sorts of weird adjectives in a hat, and they pull a couple pieces of paper out of a hat, and then they're like, okay, let's make a book out of that. And then it turns out awesome. So I'm pretty excited about that one. Manga is all about telling a good story. Yeah, I mean, they're great. They're great. But I think what I love about it, and I think it's a cultural thing, is sometimes it's just nonsensical. Even in their anime, when I'm watching anime, sometimes they're like cuts and their scenes and the logic in the worlds they create are just, it doesn't make any sense. At least to a Western mind, it doesn't even make any sense. But it's so entertaining and so incredibly executed that you don't care. And that's why I think, like, sometimes in Western audiences, we think too much, we overthink things, we try and make sense out of stuff too much, and they just, a lot of times their books are just for the fun of whatever it is they want to do. I think they have less restrictions. I think comics in Japanese culture are more widely accepted, so the range of what they can do and the stories they can tell are, you know, much more broader than they can do a whole series on ping pong or like a whole series on a drummer, and they'll have an audience, you know. So, or you know, a whole series on a character that has like turns into a panda, or what, you know, what, like, it's just random stuff like that. But they find their audience, and I do believe it's, the culture is more accepting of that as like an entertainment form, like a serious entertainment form. And so they try more things, they can do more things. And then just the execution, the artists and the teams and the studios that execute this stuff are incredible. And they just crank this stuff out. And that's why they're dominating the market now. Soul Eater, yeah, it says that was from the creator of Soul Eater. I've never read Soul Eater. Is that good? Is that a good one? I know it's a popular one, but I've never... My knowledge of manga is not deep by any stretch of the imagination. I just know kind of the big ones, like the most popular ones, but I don't have a deep knowledge of manga. So, let's see. You guys talking about makeup? Oh my goodness. Makeup. All makeup should be off. It's late night stream. What are you guys talking about? Emo Trash is on point here, derailing stuff. I imagine being that first person in Rocky's first live stream. You didn't need to imagine that, John. You were that first person in my first live stream. It's amazing. Rocky was being afraid of being alone. Now he fears what I may or may not coerce him into. Okay, let's see. Rollers. Oh my gosh. Before we get in, yep. It's standard fare here. Maybe I should set a clock for the intro talk. And then, set it for like 45 minutes. Then you guys can come back when I actually start drawing. This reminds me of the time he didn't want to start inking, kept distracting himself with it while yapping. Yeah, it happens. You guys would do it too. What I'm trying to accomplish is more... Oh, wait, let's see. We distracting you. Should we all sit here quietly? Yeah, it's not going to happen. Let's not talk about the... Okay, here we go. Mighty Geek Studios. He's pushing us in the right direction. Thank you, sir. Let's not talk about the missing cleavage lines or the fact that they replaced the panel of Nick kissing girl with his holstered gun hanging on the back of a chair. Yes. And I'm going to turn this into a vote, you guys. You guys are going to... I know you didn't get to vote for which page I did this time, but I'm going to give you guys a vote, and it has to do with the stuff Mighty Geek Studios is talking about. So once I catch up on the chat, we will get into it. How have I never heard of Tank Chair if it's supposed to be up there with Chainsaw Man? I mean, I don't know if it is. I just think it's so bizarre and crazy that it could belong with it. The artwork is great, really good. So I don't know. Check it out. Look it up. Tank. I'll let you know how it goes once I read it, but it looks awesome. Entire series based on this one dude dying and being reincarnated in another world as a slime. Yeah, it's crazy. I watched Soul Eater a long time ago. All right. A clock. You'd skip so many chats that way. Yeah, that's the point. Okay, so here we go. Here's the page. Now, Mighty Geek Studios, the astute Mighty Geek Studios, talking about missing cleavage line. Okay, so let's get into this. This is so interesting. Let me make sure I have all the right windows open. And then, all right, here we go. So, this is from cracked.com or Cracked Magazine or whatever, and I found this article as I was trying to look for the actual, like a high-res version of this image. I found these articles about stuff. So here we go. Super fascinating. So in the late 60s, Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. series by writer-artist Jim Steranko was one of Marvel's hottest titles. So hot that they were constantly like, whoa, tone it down before someone sees this. One character who regularly scandalized Marvel's editors was S.H.I.E.L.D. agent Contessa Valentina Allegra de la Fontaine. And for those of you who watch the MCU stuff, it's played by Julia Louis-Dreyfus. And she could be pretty cool in it. Who knows? I don't know if she has the like sex appeal that this character did from the comics as much, and maybe they're playing that down because she for sure was all about sex appeal, which I think really counters Nick Fury's like machismo and like his like just like cavalier kind of swagger. Like I thought she was just a great counterpoint to that. So, for instance, one time they blanked out Contessa's butt to make her cheeks less pronounced, or well, not pronounced at all. And then here, I don't know what issue this is from, but here's a example of what they were doing. So they kind of blacked out here the contour that Steranko did. Like he spent all this time like modeling that out, and they like blacked it out. Somewhat controversial. I mean, really? Like, out of all the comics, they never defined these butt cheeks before? Like, we never had butt cheeks before this moment, and they had to black it out? I don't think so. I love this comment. Or like she's a mutant with an empty void instead of a butt. More than once, they removed lines from the Contessa's cleavage, making it look like she likes to wear outfits with big skin-colored patches on the chest. So on the left, you see the original black and white, and it's just this little area here. I believe you can see my mouse. Just this little area here, her cleavage here, inked in, and then they just erased it. And that's what the author is saying looks like big skin colored patch on her chest. It is odd. I mean, that's controversial. So weird. Like, considering all the superhero girl comics, or all the superhero girls at the time. I don't know. It's really odd. It's I know that in like one of in Gene Colan's work, I have this book of Gene Colan's stuff. I got this from the Cartoon Art Museum. I've showed this on stream before. I think I have a window where I can do... Check that out. Triple window, guys. So this Gene Colan book, and because they had an exhibit on this stuff, but the reason I bring it up is there's some panels in here where I guess they had whited out around this woman's chest, whited out certain areas around Black Widow, and because it was too risque, right? So, but if they got away with this, like, why was Steranko stuff not okay? I don't know if this came after Steranko. I don't know. But anyway, so it seems like it's like kind of that era where some of the artists were pushing the envelope of what was allowed in comics of the day, and for whatever reason, the editors, or Marvel in this case, was like, no, we gotta like tone that down a little bit. At one point, Marvel's... Oh, yeah, I got that. Oh, no. One time, Marvel's attempts to de-eroticize Steranko's work backfired pretty spectacularly, ended up achieving the opposite. In Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. #2, this is the page, from 1968. 1968. And I know I'm old, but I'm not that old. So... this is probably before Mr. Monkey Boy 1969's time, too. I'm gonna guess, I'm just going out on a limb there, that this is before his time. But 1968, can you imagine? Steranko was killing it. That's amazing. Steranko drew a silent sequence of Fury and Contessa hanging out together, ending with a shot of the two kissing. No butt or void grabbing or anything like that. They just putting their arms around each other while making out. Right there. That's the end. Kind of a funny pose, but they're insinuating stuff there, right? We can connect the dots as the reader of what is going on, how the progression of this page is going on. And once again, some top-notch commentary here, though it could also be interpreted as a shot of her about to knee him in the groin. Possibly. See that panel of the phone off the hook? Oh, I'll scroll up here. In the days of old, that was the way primitive people put their phone on Do Not Disturb mode if they wanted some alone time. Marvel felt that implying Nick Fury didn't want to be called so he could smooch with his lady friend was going too far for an all-ages comic. So they had another artist redraw that shot, but with the phone properly hooked in, as in any decent, non-depraved household. According to Steranko, now every time I pass a phone that's off the hook, I get horny. That sounds like a Steranko comment. But the most bizarre change was the final panel. So this was the final panel of the original, them kissing, on the rug here. Pretty dramatic. And this is the replacement here. Samuel L. Jackson has asked for the panel to be redrawn again, but with a bazooka. Bump. Here we go. But, yes, they replaced the kiss with a shot of a gun tightly inserted in a holster, which is actually a zoomed-in copy of an earlier panel. This, the top panel. Oh, they don't have it here. Well, I'll show it to you guys in a second. Thus accidentally taking Nick and Val from first to third base. Even Steranko conceded that this was a sexual metaphor much more potent than my figures. In fact, we can perfectly imagine this exact cut happening in an Austin Powers movie, the most erotically charged film franchise in history. Anyway, if you see any random shots of holstered guns or vintage phones during the inevitable blah, 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 scene on Secret Invasion. Now you know what happened here. I guess they're referencing, if they would say referencing this page on that series Secret Invasion, which I never watched because it looked horrible. So anyway, super crazy, right? So I have beep, beep, beep. Let me go back to this shot. So the version of the page that I blew up to start my master study on is the edited version, because that's the only version that I could find actually that had a high enough resolution. And this is the gun that they basically copied and blew up and put in the final panel, as opposed to the two of those figures standing there kissing. And then this is the redrawn phone, where the original STERANKO phone was off the hook, the do not disturb. And then this was the like non-cleavage, but I actually, before I even researched that stuff, I'm like, oh, they must have missed it in this version. So I like penciled it in myself, the cleavage there, and there's actually a little bit of cleavage there added in. Very, very subtle. But the biggest change is being this last row of panels. So in my research, as I was looking up this article, there's a couple links that I followed, and I actually found higher scans of the unedited pages. So where's that? Here is, okay, so this is the unedited. Comic Arts Fan is a great gallery of where people scan in their original art, and you can, in some cases, you can buy original pages of art from here. But it's really cool. It's a great reference. You can find, look up any artist on this website, and you can usually find scans of their original art, which is great to look at. So I found this page on here, which is the original unedited page, right? There's the cleavage here. There's the phone off the hook, and then there's the two figures at the end there. But this page, the scan of this page actually isn't that high quality, which is why it didn't come up when I was originally looking for pages to blow up to do the master study. So I was kind of bummed about that. But then there was a couple links that I saw down here. It says previous item here, and I clicked on those links, and I found, look at how great those scans are. These are beautiful scans, actually. And this is of the second row. So let's see. Oh, I'm going to switch to this view again. Sorry to keep switching views, but you'll understand why. So that is the second row. Oh, dang it. Can I move it over? No. Oh, because it's like zoomed in. Can I do this? Oh, there we go. So that's the second row. And then this is the second row that I have here. So the difference is basically the cleavage on the fourth panel. And then I also have a zoomed in close up, another great scan of the final panel, which has the phone off the hook. And then the one that I have printed out has the phone on the hook. Look at that redraw. And then this one has the blown up image of the gun copied here. And in the scan that I found today has the original figures that STERANKO did. So, because I have access to both of them, I was like, well, which one should I do? Should I do the original STERANKO? Or should I do what ended up being in print, which arguably I like better. I kind of like the gun in the holster better for the last panel, and the phone on the hook. The phone on the hook actually cracks me up, because they tried to change it of like, oh no, it's not him doing do not disturb. It's just a phone ringing. But I love it with this new version, because it feels like even though it's ringing, they don't care. They don't care a lick that phone is ringing. So I thought that was kind of funny. But the biggest change is this last panel for sure. So what I thought would be kind of cool, and it won't slow me down because I'll start breaking down the roughs as the night goes on. But I thought what I would do was I would throw a poll up there, and see which one you guys think I should do. What do you guys think about that? I'll do a poll and tell me which version I should do. Oh wait, this is weird. Now you don't need to see this, or it's like gonna be double. So let's see. I'll go to this window, Boop. And then I'll set up the poll, and Emotress says, as the night goes on. I know. It's already like how many minutes? 45 minutes, and I haven't even put one pencil to paper. This is how it goes. For those of you, this is your first time watching me start a master study. Come on. Like, this, I mean, not come on. Everybody who's been here before, come on. But those of you who are new, this is kind of how it goes. I'm not a, like, jump straight into the drawing, jump straight into the comics kind of guy. Maybe I should be. Arguably, maybe that would get me more subscribers, because I just bore people with my yapping all this stuff. But I love talking about this stuff. I really do. And especially when I find more information and kind of geek out about it, I really, really love it. So this is just me. Welcome to my channel. My name is Rocky Ballesteros. Please hit that subscribe. This is kind of the way it goes. But what I'm going to do is I will set up this poll. And you guys, because you didn't get to vote for this page, this is another way to vote for this stuff. So I won't do it through the community tab. I'll do it through the chat. And then let's see. So which STERANKO, which version of this STERANKO page should I do? And then we'll say unedited and edited. And the unedited would be, I'm going to call it the smoochy version. And edited is the gun innuendo. That word, innuendo, is such a fun word. Innuendo. Yeah. Let's do that. All right. So I started the poll. So as the night goes on, all the breaking down of the page, the panels, that's all going to be the same. So it's not going to slow us down. But it will change those specific panels. And now that I found these high scans of these high res scans of the original page, I do have the ability to kind of sub those in. So there you go. Give me your opinions, you guys. Let me catch up here in the chat, and then I will get to the roughing out of the stuff. Wow, lots of comments here. Got that. Tank chair. Right. Okay, guys. Emo Trash says, how rude to deprive a woman of her A. Right? And her P. It's sexist, I tell you. Oh, people have boobs and butts. Jeez, no kidding. I mean, think of the time period. So this is late 60s, right? So we're still in pretty conservative, and I don't know though. There's some stuff already that was out that wasn't, like that Gene Colan stuff. Like they were already kind of pushing it, but you look at the characters now and the designs now and the things that happen in comics now, you're just like, this is so tame. But you know, it's very telling of the time, and I love that. I kind of love that, and I love that there's a history, there's a story there, and I actually love both versions. I think both versions are kind of neat to see. So I kind of like that it's available out there to check out. I'm sure this has been done many a times on other stuff too, but it's really great. I wonder if MMO has any clue Rocky's streaming at the moment. Who knows? That'd be awesome if he showed up, but my guess is he's probably asleep. Mighty Geek Studios says the Comics Code Authority viewed Nick Fury as Marvel's James Bond. That's true. Yeah. I can see that. But he was always like... Yeah, James Bond... Yeah, James Bond was... He was a cad, too. But I always felt like Nick Fury was just a little bit more rebellious, a little bit didn't care. James Bond had kind of a code. Nick Fury was just like, whatever. But he was cool when he was doing it. Kind of like Clint Eastwood. Had a feel of Clint Eastwood. I like how Rocky's still a tiny window at the top. Maybe different editors for the artist. Jim's was more strict. Maybe. That's a good point. Yeah. Editors for sure. I'm not a working comic book artist right now, so I wouldn't know how relationships with editors, but you can imagine each editor had different personalities. I've heard stories about artists saying so-and-so editor was amazing or so-and-so editor was a nightmare. So yeah, maybe Jim had it would be interesting to find out who his editor was on this particular book. Looks like they're doing martial arts, not kissing. Yeah. And that's why STERANKO's like, I think the image they replaced it in was actually a lot more risque. John has car issues. Some have moobs. No moobs. Thank you. Thank you, Emo Trash. Do you think they're going to stop Smoochy Woochy to answer the damn phone? I'm going to go with a no on that. I'm going to go with a no. I don't even need you to get... I'm not derailed. I'm on track. I'm just not getting to the drawing yet. So, but I'm on track. No smooching. They were really clearly practicing holstering his gun. The night has left. This particular book was read mainly by college students and GIs. That makes sense, and I can see them loving it, so it's really cool. How many have not been here before? Actually do both and try to spot the differences. I already know the differences. I love those growing up as a kid, those magazines. It was like highlights magazines, and always on the back page they would have, there's 10 differences. Can you spot them all? And I love those. So yeah, this could be kind of like that. But now I want to just pick one. We'll pick one. I thought about it. I was like, maybe I could do, with this image and then on the side do the other one. But yeah, I want to do it as like a complete page. Imagine the groomsman as a professor. He was. I have done some teaching. I wouldn't call myself a professor, but I have done some teaching. That'd be cool. It'd be fun. I like teaching. I like teaching stuff that I enjoy to talk about, and that's kind of why I do this YouTube channel, is to share what I enjoy. If nobody enjoyed it and everyone was like, boo, this sucks, stop talking, then I wouldn't do it anymore. So that's the same with teaching. Who voted wrong? Wait, I haven't even checked the vote yet. Well, they sexualized this more in the edited version. Yeah, seems like it. I just like the gun in the holster. Me too. Emo Trash, go get some Apple Jacks. I'm a big like Cheerios. Cinnamon Toast Crunch, Cookie Crisp. Good choices. Yuck, Mr. Monkey Boy says. Roger Moore was the new James Bond when this issue was drawn. Really, already? So this was wait, Roger Moore was already James Bond in the 60s or late 60s? No kidding. Roger Moore was my James Bond growing up. I thought he was great until I saw Sean Connery's James Bond, and then I was like, oh, this guy's really good. Yeah, Sean Connery is I like Roger Moore, but Sean Connery was, I'd say, is my favorite. Wait, wasn't a professor? YouTube is doing a thing. There we go. YouTube gonna YouTube. All right, cool. I caught up. I wasn't a professor. I mean, I didn't. I was just a teacher. The most I've been, it was like just a part-time teacher. I wasn't a professor. Buffering? Ah, dang. Am I buffering? Let me know. Hopefully not. Let's see. So far, 67%. 6 votes, 67% for the gun version. All right. Seems like that one is winning so far. All right. We'll let that poll run a little bit longer if anybody else swings in here. But it looks like the innuendo is winning. All right, so as I do with all of my master studies when I start, I kind of just like to... I blew this up, most of the time I'll scan in from a book, the book that I get the artwork from, or if I find a digital scan online like I did last time with the Barry Windsor Smith cover that I finished, I found a very high-res scan of that cover, the black and white version of that cover, so that's what I printed out at the printer. But in this particular case, I found not the greatest high-res scan, so it is a little munchy, but those close-up scans that I just showed you guys, those are really high-res, so regardless of whether or not I use all of the panels in that or that, I'm going to definitely reference that artwork as I go about this master study. But so what I like to do is I'll print out, just for the process side of it, I'll print out a 11 by 17 version of the artwork and then try and size it to fit within the lined paper here. So I'm using, not to repeat myself all the time, but for those of you who are just joining me for the first time or watching this later, switch to this view. I'm using this Strathmore Bristol paper that already has the comic lines marked out on here, which is great, and like the safe lines and the trim lines and whatnot. And I blow up my artwork, my reference artwork, to fit as close as I can, as I would think that they would want to be within the safe lines. So it would be, in my opinion, or by doing that, I would think that would get my artwork as, relatively close to the size that the original was drawn at, which is the whole point. So I did that. I blew this up and got it to fit, at least the width of it fits pretty close, and the height of it is a little shorter than the height, but I'm sure that differentiation was just because measurements were different at the time in the 60s compared to how they're lining comic book art paper now, but I got as close as possible. And then I like to block out my... actually, I'm going to use should I use a different color for... I'm going to use a different color. So, as I always start, I start with these using my Colorase pencils. Standard go-tos I do use are blue and scarlet red. So I'm gonna rough out these lines here for just to kind of mark. Well, actually, I do this. This is thirds, close to thirds. Not really close to thirds. Well, I gotta get halfway there. Yeah, so I'll just mark out kind of where the panel lines are. And I've had this question asked a number of times on some of these different streams of, why don't you just lightbox it? And I really I don't want to lightbox it. I could if this was just an inking exercise, but it's not. I really want to learn the whole process or practice the whole process from blank page to pencils, blocking it in, to inks. And a lot of that has to do with just training my eye to transfer over what I see over to here. So, you know, wrestling with like proportions and perspective and all that kind of stuff, which I wouldn't have to do if I just lightbox the whole thing. And, you know, as much as I love the inking process, I love the penciling process as well. And if I'm ever going to get to that point where I'm working on my own book, I can't just be inking it. I got to know how to do it all. So that is why I do it this way. It's a little crazy, but it's fun too. And then at the end of the day, I have both a type penciled page and also a finished ink page. So that's great. I have that for all the master studies I've done so far. Now this is the thing. Whenever I frame my camera, and it's always a little different every time, I gotta remember to make sure I'm drawing on camera, because there has been quite a few streams where I wasn't. That defeats the purpose of everything that I'm doing here if you guys can't see it. So I need a little like you know that game Operation with the buzzer? I hated that game because the buzzer always freaked me out. But I need a little buzzer that buzzes every time I'm off frame so that I know, because I don't know. Sometimes I just get so caught up with the drawing that I don't look up at the screen and see where my framing is. Oops. Wow. Okay, so that's the... Oh no, we got this one down here too. Okay, so that's my 3 levels. And then this is one whole panel here, and then this is divided into 5 panels here. So the best way to do that is... best way to do that is what? I guess to equally divide it up. I guess I could just measure that out. Maybe that would be better. This is 1 and math. 1 and 6/8. 1 and... It's one about 1 and 6/8. A little bit more than 1 and 6/8. All right, let's see. He was buffering. How does one teach classes that I don't know? I don't know if it's officially called a professor. It's just like it's a teacher. Professor, I imagine like you wear one of those hats with a tassel. At least, very least, you were an instructor. Yes. There's over 50 edits in the entire issue. No kidding. Wow. I need to dive deeper into that whole issue and see what they did. Because, yeah, I guess it makes sense. More than just this one page. Is Munchie a technical term? Yes, it is. Very technical. I know what happened. Too many students were falling asleep to Rocky teaching with his dulcet tone ASMR educating, possibly. But I wasn't speaking into a mic. But I don't know. We'd turn out the lights to watch stuff. It's possible kids fell asleep. College kids, I get it. The one thing that happened. One of the first days that I was teaching, I was relatively young when I did that part-time teaching gig. So, I didn't really, if I was being honest, I didn't really look like a teacher. So I remember the first day that I was there and all the students filed in and I was standing at the front of the class and, they would say hi and blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, okay, let's start with, who I am and da 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 da. And they're like, oh, wait, you're a teacher? They were like, we thought you were a student. I was like, yep, I'm your teacher. Just double check the measurement on that. Yeah, it's a little bit. So yeah, that was tough. I had to like earn their respect a little bit because they were like, well, what do you know? Why are you here teaching us stuff? And I told them, I'm about to bore you guys to tears and make you fall asleep. That's how real I am as a teacher. No, I told them like, hey, and at the time I had already like worked in the industry and blah blah blah. It was just a weird in between time that I needed part-time work. And I told them, I said, hey, like, you can listen to what I'm saying. I'm your teacher, and if you don't want to, that's okay. But just know when you get out of this school, and I did say this, I said, just know when you guys graduate and come out, you'll be competing with me to get a job. So, and I ain't messing around. I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm going to give you guys a break because you were my students. I was like, nah, I'm going for the same jobs you guys are. So you can listen to me if you want. You don't have to. But it was good. It was really fun. It was really rewarding. And the best part was like, after I did that teaching gig, then I went back into the industry and was working on other projects and whatever. And I do remember like at one point, one of my former students coming up to me. We were at a convention and one of my former students coming up to me. Two of my former students, they were getting married. That was weird. But yeah, came up to me and he had a job. I think he was working at DreamWorks, and it was just cool. It was just really cool to like for him to come up and say, "Hey, and you're my favorite teacher, and it really helped me get this job," and blah blah blah. So it was awesome. I did not get the DreamWorks job. He did. Moral of the story is he got the job. I didn't. Panels are a little off, but that's okay. Just rough it in for now and I'll tighten them up later. Dare I try and put background music? It's always blown up in my face when I have tried it. Those of you who have been in my streams before know this. Background music doesn't... It's always something crazy going on. Some bad mix, something. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom, boom. Just do this side. Side lines. Here. Here. And I've mentioned this before in the master studies. I like to change color on my rough pencils or use a different color race pencil when I'm doing it. It just helps distinguish. In this particular case, it's like it helps me see the difference or clearly see where the borders are versus the rough drawing. So that's why I drew these panels in red, but I will be drawing in blue probably. That's how we'll start off this. All right, so we got our panels. We got our panels in here. See, I think half of the time I was drawing off frame, right? Wasn't I? I was. The originals are closest to what Rocky is drawing, just shrunk for the comic publishing. Oh, as Emo Trash says, as close as I can get to the art to the original, but I still draw 15% larger than the original. It is. That's my default. Just generally, even whilst he's trying to match the proportions, he always makes it a little bit bigger during the actual sketch. It's true. It's true. That's one of my Achilles heels. Majority of the edits are on the Countessa. Surprise, surprise. Now we sit and wait for Rocky hair shots. Now, I adjusted my camera so I don't give you more hair shots. Or I don't give you hair shots. But it does cut in a little bit to... I do have to push the paper out farther. But you shouldn't be getting hair shots today, guys. That's part of the reason why I had to change it. Of course that buzzer freaked you out. That's right. NTM Comics, what's up? Do you have OCD? Yes. Not officially, but I wouldn't be surprised if I was diagnosed with that. I like order. Let's put it that way. I mean, I don't have OCD in a sense where I have to, like, you know, wash my hands 40 times or, like, lock the door 10 times before I walk through it. Not that extreme. But I do like order, and I do like keeping things clean. You can ask Shanth. He is the opposite of that. He has his own kind of OCD, but not with cleanliness. How you doing, NTM Comics? Good to see you. Thank you for coming. Everybody saying hello. Having PB&J. Nice choice, Comrade Sammy. Excellent choice. Now I have to set out bread defrost. Oh, yeah, pop it in the microwave. That sounds good. Do that. Yes, that's what radiation is for. It's one of the greatest. Yeah, I would say that. For sure. Rocky Ballesteros, I had a professor that talked isht for every class. Bread is in the microwave. All right. My first year, I honestly gave him just as difficult time as I do to you. Only difference is that he served it right back. Well, yeah, it's different. Can't hide behind the chat as much when you are sitting in the classroom. I guess you could, but... You got an instant F for the class. That's right. All right, let's see. When I had him again last semester, the confidence was less. The antisocial tendencies had been adopted. You mean your confidence was less? Yeah. Background music doesn't work for you, Rocky. Always have a time. Okay, I won't do it. Oh, John. Always throwing in the puns. STERANKO kept this book from being canceled. Nice. That's great. Diesel, what up, Diesel? Okay, I think this was a little loud last time, but hopefully it's not. What up, Diesel? You deserve it to be loud. How you doing? Long time no see, Diesel. Good evening, brother man Rocky. Nice to see you here. It's been a while, but I'm glad you're here. Cluster OCD is a thing? That's what Shanth has? You mean clutter OCD? No, Shanth has other OCDs. He has like... I swear he has like a photographic memory. So, you know, I think that kind of like his attention to detail, and he remembers the craziest things. His memory is amazing. So it's that kind of stuff. I know there's certain numbers that Shanth doesn't like. That, or number combinations that he doesn't like. So, that could be maybe OCD. I don't know. But, yeah. But then when it comes to, like, keeping things clean, totally not there. Or he's clean. It's just really messy. All right, let's see. Wow, this panel is actually quite difficult already. But I'll just block in some stuff here. It's been a while since I penciled something, so I'm a little off. It's like you when you're penciling and inking both, definitely different skill sets. Obviously, but it takes my brain a second to like adjust and be like, oh yeah, this is penciling. I'm not like worried about the line quality or the details or anything. I'm focused more on just like blocking in the shapes at this moment. Oh, and NTM Comics and Diesel, you guys check out the poll. We're deciding between this is the edited version, doing a master study of this edited version, and the big edits are these last panels here, or the non-edited version, which, man, I should just like keep them up on screen. Can I do that? I can do that. Let me see if I can do this really quick. So there's an edited and non-edited version. Whoa, sorry. I'll make it really slow. So you can see the difference of this last panel here on the far right and the phone panel. There are two edits there. So that's the biggest difference. So you can go back and watch the stream earlier if you didn't catch it, of why they edited it. We kind of went through an article that talked about it. I'll like move it over here. But the vote in the poll in the chat is whether to do the non-edited version, which we're calling what was it called? The unedited version, which is the smoochy version, them smooching at the end and the phone off the hook, or the edited version, which is what is in front of me right now, where they replace that smoochy with this gun and then they put the phone back on the hook. So yeah, taking a vote on which one I should do. Those are the two main panels that are affected. But it all had to do with like censorship and making this book a little bit more family friendly, I guess you could say. I don't know. Like what family is really reading Nick Fury together? Like I think the audience wouldn't have really cared, but it was probably had to do with like the comics code and all that. All right, see, I'm already way off. I put down like 4 lines and I'm already way off. And I'm also off camera. Just batting 1,000 here. So yeah, I'm just trying to get rough proportions, rough placement. As you can imagine, you get one thing off, you get one proportion off, and it's just like a domino effect of how many things it affects. So try and get as close as possible. I know it'll never be perfect. It'll never be an exact copy, but I also don't want like it to be cropped horribly different from the original. It would be way easier just to lightbox this stuff, but this is part of the exercise. This is like doing the like stomach crunches and the sit-ups and the push-ups. It's not fun, but you want the results. This like tiger skin rug is going to be fun to ink once we get there. On this side, I'll try and get the placement of I love Steranko's stuff when it was. I really love his artwork in general. When he drew like action things, he was. I mean, he was on par with like Kirby, right? Kirby's action stuff, and he's definitely taking a cue from the things Kirby did and had already established for Marvel. But I feel like what distinguishes him and his unique sensibilities was when he did scenes like this that had nothing to do with action, and they were more like, I mean, in this particular case it's like kind of a romantic moment, but just like Steranko lounging on a couch. Like, I don't think Kirby would have done it this way. I think Kirby would have been like, he would have made Fury like kicking the kicking the couch to oblivion. But this like total relaxed pose, this casual pose, it's so good. Oof. And yeah, I feel like this is really where Steranko shines. And the kind of storytelling, like I don't think Kirby ever really, and I could be wrong about this, I'm not a Kirby expert by any means, but the work I know of his and that I love of his, I don't think I would ever categorize it as subtle or nuanced, and I feel like Steranko stuff has that in it. See, like I'm already like way off where this wrist is compared to. Thank you guys all for coming to this late night stream. I love doing things that are like off or streaming off my normal, which it's not really normal, but my usual schedule, because you get new people popping in here, people who have different schedules. Thank you guys for coming in here. Please hit that like while you're around. Let's check the poll. Where are we at the poll? 62% of people are still favoring. It looks like we're favoring that edited the gun version, which is great. NTM Comics says I locked the door 10 times. All right, well, welcome to the world of OCD. F is for fantastic, Diesel says. I actually aced a class by sleeping through it. That's amazing. What would have happened if you didn't sleep through that class? Would you have failed? That's hilarious. I'm trying to think. Was there ever classes? Like, there was one class, I was taking an art history class. It was one of those big lecture classes when I was in college. And for sure that one, like, dark room, slides, sometimes boring stuff. That one you could for sure fall asleep in. However, I took a side job as like a note taker for that. It was really easy. Basically, you're taking your notes, and all I had to do was photocopy the notes I did, because I would do like sketches and drawing and try and be pretty detailed with my notes for myself. And somebody suggested like, oh, you should get a job as a note taker. You can earn some money and all you got to do is photocopy your notes, which was great. But then that meant I could not take a nap. I couldn't fall asleep. So I don't know if it was worth it. I mean, it was worth it. It was worth it. But, you know, I didn't get the benefit of not being noticed if I was asleep in the class. Awesome, Diesel. I hope so. I'm like Jack Nicholson, as good as it gets. Oh, okay. Well, that's straight up OCD right there. NTM. That was definitely Jack Nicholson's thing, which is fine. I know I have a lot of friends who, have it and or were diagnosed with it and live with it. And hopefully it's not to the point where it hinders you so much in life and functioning in life. But yeah, it's a thing for sure. For sure. I feel like we got this lounging fool. Wait. So yeah, with it, you guys, for those of you who have joined me before, I tend to like bounce around as I block this stuff up, and I also like to like look at it from different angles, start in an area, then move to another area, just all sorts of stuff, just to keep my eye moving. Because I don't know if other people who are artists in the chat, but you tend to like get into, set in your ways as you're drawing, and you're like, yeah, that looks right. That looks totally right. Looks exactly like it should. And then you just switch the perspective a little bit, not the artistic perspective, but just your visual perspective. And then you realize like, whoa, I'm really off on that. You see people do that a lot of times traditionally, but now even so, it's easier to do it digitally, where you can like take a drawing that you're working on, say in Photoshop, and flip it, like mirror it, and then you can all of a sudden see all the things that you are viewing incorrectly or drawing incorrectly or out of proportion. So I can't flip this drawing necessarily because I don't have a light table, but I'll often like draw things upside down or from different sides like this. I draw it like this way, and then you'll start seeing like, oh wait, that's totally different. And it resets your brain a little bit and gives it another thing to latch onto. So yeah, I like to do that from time to time, especially when I think like, oh yeah, I figured that out, I got that down, and then I'll jump and change my perspective and I'll be like, whoa, I'm just really off. As people have mentioned in the chat before, it's like, oh, that's 15% too big, which is kind of my thing. All right, cool. This couch is starting to come along. Let's see if I can, now that I got Nick's body in here, let's see if I can start breaking down Contessa. Yeah, I was way off when I first started drawing her. Now that I have this couch in, though, it gives me something a little bit to like latch into and build off of. Been working 60 hours a week, no time for anything lately. Wow, that's probably why we haven't seen you, Diesel. Hopefully you can take a little bit of a break here and there. Don't burn yourself out, dude. Did you become emo the same time you adopted the solitary campus life, or were those two separate events? I love emo chicks. Nice. It may legitimately no longer be a phase. Like, what is emo? Like, can we define that? It's like emotional, like really whenever you think of emo, I've had this conversation with my daughter quite a bit. Whenever you think of emo, you think of like, oh, like goth. That's not necessarily always emo, is it? Right? I think of like, what was that group? The Cure, or like emo, like, oh, like deep eyeliner and like all black, like silver jewelry, combat boots. Is that emo? It's not always emo, right? It's not like Billie Eilish. Isn't that considered emo? Isn't she considered emo? Just very emotionally. It always like melancholic kind of is what I imagine emo. I don't know. What is the definition these days of emo? I'm sure it's different than what I think. Seems most have voted. So sad. Why, John, did you pick the unedited Smoochie version? Whoa. Hey, we're at 50-50. We're tied. How did that happen? Tied, guys. Don't do a tie for me again, people. Minor edits are the cleavage lines. Yeah. STERANKO version or the bastardized version. Woo. Getting a little personal there. Bleh. Kissing. Do the one with a deadly weapon. Lucky says hello. Hello, Lucky. Hello, Lucky. Is Lucky still a conehead? Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. is not an all ages book, right? So, like, why are we trying to edit it to be one? Yeah. And I love that it's not an all ages book. It's great. It's great. You know, it's not, it's like the fun part of, or the fantasy glamorization of the military and the government. It's really fun. Like you were saying earlier, or I forgot who was saying earlier, but like, you know, the James Bond espionage, that stuff's always super fun. One of my friends recommended a show called Slow Horses. Have you guys heard of that? And I heard it was like the MI6, but like the guys who didn't make the MI6 or something like that. He said it was really good. I haven't watched it yet, but I'm intrigued because it's supposed to be about espionage, spy stuff. I forgot, what is it? Shant told me this. I wrote it down in my sketchbook. It's my sketchbook. The STERANKO. Oh, there it is. The STERANKO rules for comics. Where did I write that down? I wrote that down. It was like, it's got to be sexy. It's got to be. Dagnabbit. Phil, are you still in the chat? You would know. Oh, here. There's got. Oh, pulp. It's for pulp. The sense of sexiness, sense of mystery, sense of danger. It's like STERANKO is one of those kings of pulp, and injecting that into American comics is awesome. There's a great book that Shant actually recommended I got called Pulp Power, that has a whole chapter, a section on STERANKO's influence and specifically his work on the Shadow. I can pull that out in a little bit if I take a break, but it's great. It's really, really great. And I love that he injected some of that or a lot of that, into the comics work that he did too. Right. A little bit of her. She's a little challenging. Move on to another part of this. And doop. John, I'm getting that itch to like put on a little music. But I can do it a different way where it doesn't suck, like I was using the YouTube music way. I don't know. We'll see. Could be a disaster again. The silence is deafening though. And there's the gun. We still at 50-50, you guys? I should have ended the poll when it wasn't 50-50. What are we going to do now that it's 50-50? His side is still... Oh, this is Lucky. Oh, okay. Lucky was recovering from a little bit of a medical issue. During the reign of the Comics Code Authority, Supergirl looked prepubescent. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I had mentioned this on one of my older streams. I went to a talk about comics, specifically comics in San Francisco and the Bay Area where I am, and just kind of the direction they went. So it's like we had like the whole hippie R. Crumb independent movement that originated from here, and a lot of that had to do as like a reaction to the Comics Code and how much it limited what comics could be about. And hence we went down this path, American comics went down this path of superhero comics being the main genre. And going back to what we were saying earlier in this stream with Japan, like Japan and Europe, they didn't have such strict codes like we did here, and so their market developed way wider than America's did, and that's why it is the way it is now today. And you see the benefit of that and how it's like culturally different as well compared to American comics. Like we used to have horror stuff and military stuff, and now that all kind of got whittled and funneled into superhero comics, which it's great. You know, I love superhero comics, grew up in superhero comics, but comics are so powerful, such a powerful medium, such a powerful storytelling tool. And to only limit that to superhero stuff does it quite a disservice. And when people don't like superhero comics, or they get tired of superhero comics, and they go looking for something else, and they find it in other countries. And that's why manga is so huge now, because they have such a wide appeal to the kind of stories that they tell, like Tank Chair and Fire Force, or whatever that is, and all the crazy ideas that they have. And they can appeal to such a wide audience. It's not just superhero geeks and superhero nerds. That's great. But sad for I feel like American comics are just trying to catch up, you know, or might not ever catch up, but sorry. All right. Dude. Leighton Great, what's up, awesome one?
Yes! That's awesome!
Always awesome, always great. Always on time. Comrade Sammy made her PBJ. You're here on time for that. Emo Monkey. That's a new avatar, Emo Monkey. Oh yeah, my art history class starts this Thursday. Oof. Right. Smooth peanut butter for Comrade Sammy. Awesome one. If you have... Did you vote already? And did you make this 50-50? I don't know what I'm going to do now if this is 50-50. Cranberry Langers. What's up, Cranberry?
This is a cranberry, full of power.
All still nuts. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? This is totally normal. For these guys, for all of us. This is totally normal. How are you doing, Cranberry? We missed you earlier on the afternoon stream I did. Hope you're well. Hope your job search, job training stuff is going okay. But if you guys who are just coming in now, were you guys the ones that made this 50-50? I'm gonna have to call the vice president to break the tie if that happens. I can't do both. That's not the point. That is not why I did the poll. Okay, we got this, got some foliage here. And this neat retro furniture. I love how these things like legs on the furniture or whatever, leaves or lines in the wall or whatever, they all give you little indications of the perspective, just subtly. They kind of give you a nice ground. Some leaves here, but I think we got some super rough spot. I'm gonna move to another panel. Obviously won't get all the pencils done tonight, but I'm hoping to block in most of the rough shapes tonight. But if we're stuck at a tie, I'm gonna not be able to decide on those couple of panels, those last couple of panels. Look how low that is. Wow. All right, some rough blocking there. Panel. That girl is elusive, but I'm going to move on and knock out some of these smaller panels here. Granby Landers. Rocky liked to bob and weave with his art. That's right. I'd just lightbox it. No, I refuse. Someone pretending to be a friend, email him. Email. What? Oh. Teary-eyed, whatever it is. Emo is a music style. Yes. But it's also a fashion style. I've used it to describe people all the time. So, I think it's more than that. I think I'm going to say goodnight, though. I'm very tired. Good to catch you guys. Good night. Hi, ciao. See you later, Cranberry. Emo, goth... Well, I'm super behind. Emo, goth, and punk can each be differentiated. How? Is it like the direction of the hair? Punk goes up. Goth goes down. I'm just kidding. I don't wear combat boots. I've got a little more class than that. Well, there's some cool boots. You know, what is that brand? Doc Martens. Really cool. Those are cool. Always cool. You smooch devoted. You vote the smooch. I personally love combat boots. Even own a pair myself. Is smooch emo or goth or grunge or death metal or trap or country music? Who knows, right? Beyonce won Country Album of the Year, which makes no sense. I didn't listen to the album, but that makes no sense to me. I saw this funny video of a mom telling her kid, like, guess who won the Country Album of the Year or Country Artist of the Year or whatever. And he was like, he just started going down the list of all the famous country artists right now. And he's really excited. He's like, was it this? Was it this person? Was it this person? And it like went on for a few minutes. And then he's like, I give up. And she's like, you want me to tell you? And he's like, yeah. And she's like, Beyonce. And he's like, what? And then he had this like really funny expression, and then it cut. It was kind of sad. But yeah. So, I don't know. Is it a music style? Can you categorize it as a music style? Who knows? Slow horses. This poor horses, they go to special school or something. Well, it's just a term. It's not literally, there's not literally slow horses in it. It's a special term for, I think as my friend described it, and again, I have not watched it yet, but the house that they live in is called the Slow House, I think. And that's just a nickname, the Slow Horses at this, I don't know. It's a nickname, whatever it is. Wow, look at how far off I am. That's why I like to change my perspective, because it really, I was like, yeah, that looks right. That looks like the right angle. And then when I kind of double check the measurement, it's like, nope, not even close. That is what the gun tells you. So we're going with the one that tells you that Nick is banging Contessa. I think both end with that conclusion. It's just how we go with that conclusion. I once went barefoot in the woods for about 5 days in Georgia during October. Wow. There's a a doctor who's like a best-selling author that I forgot what his, is it Chatterjee, I think, but he swears by being barefoot all the time, like it's healthy and it's good for your health. And I guess it just depends on where you're walking though, because if you gotta walk in downtown San Francisco and there's like poop and needles on the ground, I would not be caught dead barefoot in this town. But yeah, if you're in the woods in Georgia, possibly, well, might be a good idea to try that out, or in your own backyard, sure. Not in the city though, unless you want poopy syringe feet, you know. That could be a thing. All right, cigarette. I love this drawing of her. She's so cute. So cute in that. Go with the rose one next. Guess I'll have to invest in Apple TV when I win my millions. Feed the ducks, that song, yes. Put on lullaby music to match your ASMR adjacent voice. Play The Cure backwards. That sounds pretty emo. Do like Jason, have an AI read the chat to you, Rocky. I don't even know how he does that. Must be a plugin. I don't even know how he does that. I can't do that through Ecamm, I don't think. That'd be fun to try, but I can't. Flip a coin, I could do that. to break the poll, I could do that. You're gonna have to hope Shelby shows up and votes correctly. Yes, maybe call somebody new in here. Drew it. The challenge draw from the say, what is emo go? We are prudes here. I don't believe that. Go in the raid to pantry, blame the rollers. Distracting me. Fisherman comic. Oh my gosh, awesome one. It's been a while. You're hilarious. The smooch made my heart race, so I voted for the smooch. I can agree with that. 50-50 is John's fault, possibly. Still 50-50, people. I should have ended it when it wasn't. This is disappointing. I tried to tell you to do both because this was going to happen. You're like a prophecy, Mighty Geek Studios. I had no idea what I was voting for other than the Nick Fury sexy time. Oh, man. I was just going to play a mobile game and crash for bed, but I had to check YouTube. I'm very sore and in pain. Blisters on blisters, painful feet and knees. I've worked 4 days of 11 plus hours with 10 plus hours. Dang, man. Awesome One is still here. I mean, sorry, Cranberry Landers is still here. I have that song playing in my head now. Bless your feet, Cran. I'm going to hopefully go unconscious and heal now. That's why I'm missing streams. I've been working the entire time. That's a good thing, Cranberry Landers. Don't worry. We'll be here when you get back. I mean, the streams will be here. I won't still be streaming this stream. But, yeah. Go get some rest. The differentiator is a combination of the specific demeanor. Oh, this is for emo. Okay. And a little bit of the fashion choice. It's difficult to explain. Alternative is the umbrella term for all of the above. Yeah. Okay. Beyonce might have won Album of the Year, but didn't win Actress of the Year. I like your style, Awesome One. I like your music choice. I feel like you were just streaming. Nice! Michael Bancroft is here.
Isn't that a knife? That's a knife.
Michael Bancroft, did you vote in the poll? Please tell me you haven't voted in the poll and that you're about to vote and you're going to break the tie. We are voting. I did stream earlier. Good to see you. We're voting between, am I doing this STERANKO version of this page, which are the main difference are these two panels, which are the edited panels. More innuendo. I don't think it was intended that way, but it ended up being that way. More innuendo. or the original panels, which is here posted on the left here underneath my head, there, with the phone is off the hook. These are the original intended drawings Steranko did. Phone off the hook, naughty, naughty, and the smoochy time in the corner, which maybe is more explicit up for the time. Who knows? It's really hard to say. But they replaced it with this gun here. So that's what the vote is. Please save us and fix it. Please. Also, one dropped a link for Michael Bancroft's page, his comic, the Lucent comic, and the trading cards campaign that he has going on right now. Michael Bancroft says, I love Slow Horses. Fantastic show. Cool. Nice. I had never heard about it until this friend of mine told me. And I think one of the main reasons that my interest was piqued was because he told me that Gary Oldman is in it. And I love Gary Oldman. It's one of the greats. A great character actor. It's like a chameleon. That guy's in so many different roles. He seems like he would not be a chameleon. Like he'd almost be a one-note wonder, but such a chameleon actor. And I've loved almost all the roles that he's been in, or that he's done. So yeah, I'm excited to check out that show. Wow, look how off I was. My show of choice right now is Severance on Apple TV. It's my kind of show, for sure. A lot of like mystery, weird things happening, super artsy and stylized. And great acting, great characters. A lot of cool filmmaking techniques in that one. But yeah, Slow Horses is in my queue as far as like next ones that I should watch. Michael Bancroft, he's shooting for a third one tomorrow. Yes. Yeah, we got to stream on Wednesday. So, Slow Horses, nickname for all the MI5 reject. Okay, there we go. There it is. Slow Horses, that's the term. No horses involved. No horses were harmed in the making of that show. But yes. Great concept. Termites in Australia might chew on your toes if you walk barefoot. Oh my gosh. Bancroft, vote pure Steranko, not the bastardized editor drawings. We're still at 50-50. So either everybody's already voted. Come on. Each season of Slow Horses is like a pulp spy action novella. Nice. How do I convince my wife to watch Severance? Oh, well, I don't know what kind of shows your wife likes to watch. For my wife, I would tell her there's a love story at the center of it, and that might get her in for a few episodes, maybe. But there's always has to be some sort of. She always asks me when I say, "Oh, we should watch this show." She's like, "Is it a love story?" She's really hooked on K-dramas now and C-dramas, mostly K-dramas. So yeah, it's tough to pull her away from those. But you can tell her Severance is I don't know what kind of shows your wife likes, but there's something in there for everyone. There's family, there's 8-bit games, there's goats. In this last episode there were goats. There's famous actors, and yeah, it's good. It's a good show. Ben Stiller is one of the creative or executive producers on that show and directors, and he's awesome. I mean, his direction is so great. Boom. All right. Got rose face eyeball. Pretty locked in there. Look how low I made that nose. Look how large I made those leaves. Wow. So interesting. See? 15% larger. Severance has a great soundtrack too. Really good soundtrack. Actually, so Severance is in the middle of season 2 right now, and it's definitely starting to give me some like Lost vibes, which I really like that show Lost. That was great. I jumped into that show late after it was already done, and the way I discovered it is I was able to binge watch it, and it was back when Netflix was still renting out discs, is when I started binge watching Lost. But the current season of Severance is starting to give you these vibes, like these really random, strange things happening, unexplained things happening. But hopefully some of their explanations are grounded a little bit better than some of the conclusions in Lost. All right, got Rose Face Girls. Is season 2 living up? Oh, I just said it. It is. It's season 1. I think season 1 was tighter, but there's some cool things that they're bringing up in season 2, like fleshing out in season 2. But I think any show that's based on so much mystery, like you really run the risk of like blowing it if you can't stick that landing. So it's still to be determined with season 2 if they're gonna hit the landing, but it's still fresh, and it's still like, what in the heck? And they're adding all these extra aspects into the show. Like there's this one new character who she looks like a 14-year-old Asian kid who you would never imagine working in the Lumen offices of Severance. And she's new in the season, and she's basically like Milchek's assistant or whatever. But when she first came, I was like, this is so weird, like so crazy. And she's so creepy, but she's like a kid, the actress is a kid. So I'm very curious. I've seen some theories of who she is and why she's there, but very curious how they're going to explain her. And yeah, they're really starting to cross the lines of the. For those of you who don't know, the premise of Severance is there's two lives that we can live, and this corporation. Well, this corporation created a way for people to have two lives, and they insert this chip or this device into people's heads who want to live these two lives. So basically they call the two lives like your innie and your outie, and when you are in the world of Lumen, which is this company, and you work for them, the Severance world or whatever, you have a certain job, and you have like this desk job in a very boring office, and you just kind of clock in and you do the things you got to do. You don't even know why you're doing what you're doing, but you just kind of clock in and you earn a lot of money, and then when you come out, you don't remember what you do, and then you have your outside life, which is your real life, and so you know that you're part of this program. You just don't know. The two don't ever connect. You don't have any memory of either side. When you're in the in world, you don't know what you do in the outside world. When you're outside world, you don't know what's here in the inside world. So there's like a disconnect between it, and the main characters in it all have different reasons of why they opted to do this program, and their personalities inside the world, there's some similarities, but sometimes they're very different on the inside world than they are on the outside world. So it's kind of cool. And the main character, his whole reason of doing this was he lost his wife. She died in the outside world. And so he wanted to kind of forget and not live this very, very sad life. So he decided to do this program. So it's cool. Like, it's like, oh, you kind of understand why he did it. And then he starts discovering these things, and they start asking questions. And that's where the intrigue happens of like the crossover between both worlds. And when they start asking questions of like, oh, wait, what kind of person am I in the outside world? Or when they're in the outside, they're like, what are they doing in the inside world? So now all these threads are starting to overlap, and you're starting to realize there is... The way the first season ended was you start realizing that the company that's doing this, called Lumen, they have ulterior motives, of course, and it's kind of a sinister forces behind the scenes, and so it's really, really fascinating. But yeah, I think season 2 of Severance is definitely worth watching. I do think that season 1 was a lot tighter, but that's how it goes with shows like that. You can almost not ever capture that first season like magic when you're establishing such an interesting and new kind of logic of the world. And half the time in like the following seasons, you like have to like backtrack and work your way out of corners. I love that there's a record player in this. It's hilarious. Very sign of the times. All right. This poll better be fixed. I'm checking it right now. Wow. Flipped on us. It seriously flipped on us. We are an unedited smoochy version is the winning one right now. 55%. One vote has flipped us from tie. Amazing. All right, I'm gonna give it another. I don't know. I want to like lock it down before lock it down before it gets tied again. I was trying and failing to draw a helmet before I got myself derailed. Lost died when they were back in LA. Yeah. Yeah, there's a few missteps in there, but I think I had the benefit of watching Lost, like binge watching it. So the episodes that kind of stank or like didn't land well, I just blew through it, you know? And but I know people that watched it in real time when it released once a week, and they were so angry with some of those episodes. But overall, I loved the show. That was really great. And the poll. You can tell Rocky is an animator with the quick pencils for frames. Really? Emo Trash trying to teach myself how to draw like Phoenix-inspired fantasy medieval armor. Wow, there's a lot of adjectives there. They call those Neuralink, right? Right, John? I think that's what makes it so interesting. Is you're like this is possible in the near future. Is it like Rose something where a cop lives in two worlds when he sleeps and wakes? Oh, what was the name of that show? Oh man, it was. Oh, I thought it began with a C. But there was a show. I don't know if this is the one you're talking about, Awesome One, where the main character wore a string on his wrist. And yeah, when he went to sleep, he would be in a different consciousness or a different world. Oh, what was it called? I thought it was really good, but it only lasted, I think, a season. YouTube is yeah, that's a good point. Everyone thinks you're something you're not. It's true. It's true. Wasn't that the premise of Inception? Kind of. Kind of, yes. There's some similarities there, and it's probably why I liked it, because I love Inception. I think the difference is like they're working for a company, and the company has a specific task for them, and you don't really know what it is. They have these cool graphics where they're working on these, like, they have to move these numbers into, like, on a computer screen. It's like an old, like, 8-bit computer screen, and they have to move these numbers, drag these numbers into a bucket, and like win these prizes when they do it, and like they get these awards and stuff, and they really don't know why, like what the rules are. They're just kind of doing it and winning, and then they're like, yeah, we did it, like it's great, we hit our quota, but they have no idea what that quota means and what. So that reminded me of Lost in a sense, where, do you guys remember there's the hatch? I think it was season 2. They made it into the hatch, and there was this like computer that they had to press a button at a certain time. They didn't know why, but they just knew they just had to keep doing it. That's what it feels like. I'm sure the writers were influenced by that. But yeah, it's cool. And then the question is like, well, what if I don't do it? Like, what's gonna happen if I don't do it? Am I gonna die, or somebody gonna die? Oh my gosh. I just blew that big time. It's funny. I thought I measured this stuff out, but then when you see it from a different side, you realize, nope, I did not do that right. That's a line. somewhat. I love this panel here. Oh, sorry, I'm like way off frame. No, I'm not way off frame. I love this panel here, but we'll get to that in a second. I love her pose. Speaking of tangent, there's like this weird tangent here with the back of her foot and her neck. I don't know. I love it though. If it was like a no-name artist, you'd be like, oh my gosh, there's a tangent there. But the fact that STERANKO did that, I'm like, that's so awesome. We're still at 55. I'm going to end it in 1 minute. It's 1 a.m. Guess the makeup should come off now. Wow. Jeez Louise. Stop giving more time, Rocky. Not the smoochy version. Tonsil hockey sickening. Boo, I want the one with the boom boom Rosewood. That was not the show I was thinking. It wasn't Rosewood. It was... jeez, what was it? I'll have to look it up. I just got to remember who the actor was now that played the main actor. So that I can look it up on IMDb. Every adjective is representative of each level of suffering it takes to teach myself to figure... That's right. So Inception meets Squid Games. Squid Games is way violent. I watched the first season of that. I have not watched the second season. I don't think I will. The first season was good, in my opinion. It was just... I don't need to ever watch that again. It was just so brutal, that show. But it was really good. Wow, I'm still awake. Yep. Maybe you're just waiting for me to end this poll. Let Inception into John's head when he walks. The holstered gun is already... It's true. End in 1 minute. Wait, the poll. Yes. Torchwood. Yeah, that wasn't the show I was thinking. Oh, that wasn't the show. Good, I was about to sleep. No, I'm not going to end the stream yet, people. Come on, hang on with me. 12 watching now. We're not going to end this for 12 people watching. 12 people watching, 7 likes. Come on, 5 people. Hit me that like. Oh, the poll just went... Oh, 58%, 52. I got to end it. 12 votes, 58%. Hold on, let me just refresh one more time. 58%. All right, I'm doing... Okay, I'm going to end it at 11:20 my time, which is in 50 seconds. 48 seconds. 44 seconds. And I'm going to end it. But it looks like unedited smoochy version, which is right here. Looks like this one's going to win it, which will be a little bit harder because I got to draw those 4 figures in the corner. But 30 seconds. 30 seconds. We're going to end this poll. Lower the poll. I wasn't ready to be myself in the dark yet. I got to get up at 10 o'clock. It's 1:19. John is yelling at me. End it. Mr. Monkey Boy hates it. 1 second. Oh, shoot. Ending it. The winner is Smoochy version. Unedited. We're doing that one, guys. My condolences to the Innuendo crew. But the polls have it. The eyes have it. The unediteds have it. Yeah. So we're going to do this version, which is great. I like them both. I like that I have the option to do both. But look at this smooch. We're gonna work it. Thanks everybody. Thanks for voting in there. Let me make sure I mark these panels so I remember not to do it. Actually, I'll put a post-it on it. That would be a lot more classier if I put a post-it on it. This one, and then this one, just so I remember that I'm not doing these panels. Okay, there we go. The vote was done. I thought he was holding her dead body, not Smoochie. Does that mean you voted wrong? Does that change your vote? Too late. Too late. They're smooching. They're smooching. But if it makes you happy, sure, she's dead. But no, too late. They're smooching. I don't think Nick Fury would do that. I don't think he'd kill a girl before he smooched her. I really don't. Doesn't seem like that kind of guy. Yeah, Squid Games. I won't watch that. I don't think I'd watch the second one. It was literally torture. And that's the whole premise of the show, but yeah, it was rough. It was a rough go. All right, let's get this fun panel here. There's so much being communicated just by these panels. I mean, you know, jokes aside, the innuendo aside or whatever, like so much being communicated, just how like the seduction, the flirting. It's awesome. And it's subtle, you know, it's like it's not in your face. I just finished reading that. I had mentioned it this afternoon. I'd finished reading that X Factor run, or whatever. It's like 8 issues of X Factor that Joe Quesada had a stint on. I mean, I think he drew other issues, but that was kind of the main chunk that he drew on X Factor in the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s. And they had a couple of those issues had like backup stories with drawn by another artist. I don't know who the artist was. But it was backup stories with like Quicksilver in it and Crystal. And pretty much they were just like getting it on in like in a remote location, and that was not, there was no subtlety to that at all. And it was a little, it wasn't drawn well even, so it's just when you read it, you're just like, ugh, like, all right, I guess. Like it doesn't intrigue you at all, but like this and this progression, so cool. There's an artistry to it, and it's beautiful, and it's, you know, it's smart, it's witty. I always appreciate, it's like one thing to say, oh yeah, so-and-so is a comic book artist, but it's, shoot. Am I still alive? What happened? That's the first time I've had buffering problems. That bad. Let me see. Let me make sure. Did this continue? Or hello? Are we live? Did it like reconnect? It looks like we're back. We're back. That was weird. That was a lot of buffering. My apologies, everybody. What the heck? That has never happened to me before. The cool thing was, Ecamm let me reconnect. So that was cool. But I don't know what the heck just happened. That was weird. I'm gonna turn that off. What's up, CB? You just came at the weirdest time where I just buffered to oblivion. Let me sorry, I'm just checking my YouTube channel here. But thank you guys for still being here. So that's weird. Is it gonna like, does it just like tag it on to the end? Huh. Strange. Very strange. Oh well. Well, I'm back. And the Oakland World Series earthquake flashed before my eyes. Comrade Sammy says Rocky's picking up the ways of Shant buffering. Yeah, that was weird. I don't know what happened. I'm back. Welcome, CB. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. I think I'm going to be close to wrapping this up. I don't know, because that freaked me out. That it was buffering. Was that the internet telling me that it's time to go to bed? For some of you guys, it is. Melatonin be damned. All right, we'll see. We'll hang for a little bit here. You guys tell me no. Let me know if more buffering happens. Did I miss anything? I did do most of my reading. Just need to get the last bit done before tonight's class. Tonight as in Wednesday, I'm assuming. Oh, here, I see where you guys saw the buffering. Sorry. Whoops. Yep. I did not see the buffering. Did he freeze? Yes. All right. Can't believe MMO is sleeping. You can leave the last panel blank. All right. Just catching up here. Mighty Geek Studio says, tell the world Nick is banging the girl without telling the world that this is what the edited version does. Yes. I think both of the versions do it. The first, I mean, let's be honest, that end panel, the first, the unedited version, it's not that scandalous, really. They're already kind of kissing the panel before it, so. All right, let's see. Rocky got a good scare. That's right, I'm awake now. My eyes are excited when you said you're wrapping this up. Makeup is off. Okay, I love that you guys are still here. Thank you. I appreciate that. I owe you guys big time for just hanging out. You never know when like stuff like that happens. If it just ends it, you get kicked off entirely, which would have been a bummer. But I'm glad it didn't. Okay, so I'm going to do a little bit more, but then I will end it soon because John and the buffering gods are telling me it's time to go. What time is it? 11:30. That's pretty late. Pretty late for you all. Here-ish. All right. Wow, this is a funny panel because this is her leg. So you would assume her leg would be down like here, but no, it's over here. What is going on? It's an interesting framing device we got there, Contessa. All right, I'm just gonna rough this in, and I'll hit up more of this next time. Ah! This microphone is exactly placed where the angle of my pencil hits it. That was weird, huh? I usually have really good... I mean, I have great internet service. I wonder why that was why that went buffering. Unless somebody's watching an intense stream of K-drama upstairs. That's possible. Yeah, I'll have to check on that. All right, so in conclusion of tonight, got a little bit done here. I will be doing the unedited version of the page, which is here, floating here in midair, on my left, underneath my head, right there. I'll be doing that unedited version versus this. Well, I covered it up, but versus this one, because the poll hath say it. It'll be great, though. It'll turn out great. And for sure, I'll have another penciling stream for this. There's no way I'm anywhere near done with the pencils on this right now. So yeah. I mean, these will kind of go pretty fast. These bottom panels. Aside from the new one of them smooching in the corner, these other ones will go pretty fast because they're almost just like one asset, like the lips and the head and here. But here's where we are so far, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I got a lot of work to do. Look at all this texture. Holy moly. That's going to be insane. That'll be fun to ink. That's going to be insane to pencil. But yeah, you can see it start to form here in this start breaking down the spaces here. This middle panel. So yeah, it's coming along. Coming along, guys. But tomorrow I will be shooting to do a Wednesday comics stream where we'll be just talking comics, not drawing, because there are a few books that I'll pick up tomorrow and we'll look through those. Have fun looking through those new books tomorrow. And then the next master study, I don't think it will be after Wednesday. I don't know if I'll stream again. Maybe I will after Wednesday. That'd be crazy. 4 streams in a week? No, that'd be crazy. But we are trying to push the boulder of 470. Trying to push that boulder. We're at 472 right now, which is awesome. So we're trying to push. See, it's because I'm streaming more and at weirder hours and forcing you guys to stay up. But 472. So thank you for that person that subscribed for 472. We're making the push to 500. We will be at 500 before we know it. And thanks to all of you who stick around even when the buffering kicks me off. Whoa, I need to get a haircut. I think I'm going to get a haircut tomorrow. So maybe I'll be freshly cut for my Wednesday comic stream. But yeah, thank you guys for staying around even after it buffered. Who knew that was going to happen? And who knew that it would connect the stream again once I reconnected? So that's awesome. That's my first experience doing that. Don't you guys remember when I had all these technical problems all the time? Bumping my camera, knocking things over, sound being off. Is my sound on? Is this mic on? So that was great. Buffering is a new one. That was a new challenge. How about that? Hopefully that doesn't happen again. But yes, we're ending this now. Thank you guys so much for coming to this master study. Stay tuned for the next one that will come. If not sometime at the end of this week, Thursday, Friday, for sure we'll hit it up again at the beginning of next week. I love to try and get these going. I'd love to get these pencils done by no later than the beginning of next week so that we can start the inking process. Looking at this, I'm probably going to hit it up with the Winsor Newton 7 for sure. I think is my weapon of choice on this. I think STERANKO probably inked, or if he inked himself, or whoever inked this, probably used a brush. Looks definitely brush heavy. So that's my weapon of choice. So I can't wait to get to that. But thank you guys so much. Have a good night. Get some rest. Get ready for tomorrow. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care. Thank you. My name is Rocky Ballesteros. Please hit the like, subscribe, all that business. I will see you guys in a little bit. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Ciao.